Good morning, everybody. Yesterday I was giving you a little bit of background on this 12th blessing of the Amidah, and I told you that it was written by Shmuel HaKatan, Samuel the small one, who was actually the greatest person of his generation, great enough, in fact, to be able to add a blessing, to write a blessing to put into the Amidah that had been composed by prophets 400, 500 years earlier. And the purpose of this blessing, which is a blessing for God to swiftly cut down the slanderers and the wicked and the enemies, Hashem's enemies, the purpose of this was really twofold. One was the obvious stated goal of praying for the downfall of the arrogant, wicked slanderers who were threatening the authenticity and the integrity of the Jewish people at the time. But there was a second purpose of this, which was to weed out these people from the midst of this community and the society, because if somebody were called upon to lead the services, well, when they got to this 12th blessing, if they were actually one of these secret members of the Sadducees or one of these groups that were trying to create an insurrection within the Jewish people, there's no way they would utter this blessing, because the blessing was directly a curse against themselves. So that was a way of weeding out and figuring out who exactly were these malshinim, these slanderers, these arrogant, wicked people. Now, I just want to tell you one thing which is so fascinating is that the person that was chosen to write this blessing, I mentioned yesterday, was Shmuel HaKatan, Shmuel the small one. Now, this Shmuel HaKatan is quoted in Pirkei Avot, in the Ethics of Our Fathers, in chapter 4, in the 24th saying or Mishnah in that chapter. And it says like this: Shmuel HaKatan Omer, Samuel the small one said, and then all he does is quote a verse from Proverbs. And the verse is, if your enemy falls, do not rejoice. If he stumbles, let your heart not be glad. Now that's interesting. That's his main motto in life. That's his main saying. He walked around with that verse all the time. If your enemy falls, don't rejoice. If he stumbles, don't let your heart be glad. Maybe, just maybe, that's part of the reason why he was chosen to compose this blessing, because there could have been absolutely no personal gain or joy whatsoever for Samuel, the small one, to see the enemies of the Jewish people destroyed. He wasn't looking for revenge. He wasn't bloodthirsty. His whole life was about this motto: if your enemy falls, do not rejoice. If he stumbles, do not let your heart be glad. Only somebody like that, who did not seek personal gain or derive any enjoyment whatsoever from seeing the wicked and from seeing the enemies fall, could compose a blessing directly asking Hashem to cut down his enemies and to swiftly uproot the wicked from this world. Otherwise, it'd be too self-serving. So it's an amazing connection between this 19th blessing of this 19th chronologically. It was added as the 19th blessing, but it's the 12th in the order of the blessings, between this blessing and this quote from Pirkei Avos. This is something that I want to share with you, and tomorrow we'll go a little bit more into some of the details of this blessing.